I am the walrus. Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Is that Yellow Submarine?
No, that's I am the walrus.
Welcome to the It's So Easy podcast.
You stole my thunder, man.
Uh-oh.
Yourself? Yeah, okay. I'm on.
It's a good
Check. What's up, you guys? I'm Lenny Kravitz, lead singer of Slipknot. How you doing?
Bastard, you stole it
That
from
is
me.
a loud fucking mic.
Pulling it down.
Hey, where am I
Check
at?
it, check
Okay,
it,
there
check
we go.
it, check it.
Just
check
calm down, Chris. You're shouting.
What's
Sorry,
it called?
guys.
1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it.
Jeez.
Let's do a quartet. Let's sing a quartet harmony.
Watch your profanity.
Oh, sorry.
There's children watching.
You're right.
You don't want me singing.
You've got the edge. We didn't even write any topics down.
Shit.
It's so easy.
You guys want to hear?
Well, we didn't necessarily cover the first two.
Oh,
First three. Well,
dude.
First two.
Okay, are we getting up on these now?
Get up off of that thing.
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, so live sound. What were we talking about with live sound? Hi, folks. Welcome to the podcast. It's great to have you back. We're confused as hell right now.
Indeed.
Yeah, how about we start this fucking thing over?
Boom.
Take two.
Oh, we started over. That was a good intro.
Yeah. That was a terrible intro.
No, it was good.
the same
Nice girl, but she doesn't have a lot to say.
That was funny as shit.
I think it was good. It was free.
We can
Loose.
keep going.
I think it laid back's okay.
Edit out Brandon saying we restarted.
I know, right?
We can.
Give me that clip too.
Either way. It's content. It's more material.
You're still rolling.
Oh, shit.
You're getting that whole package.
Oh, that's
You and-
awesome.
Fuck yeah.
That was cool. All right, live sound. What were we talking about with live sound? Like, what's too live? What's too loud?
Yeah, it was like, what's too loud? How are you working in specific venues?
I think we could kind of cover tone again without.
It's in there.
Yeah, well, with live, yeah, tone definitely. I guess with when we're talking about too loud, I've always been one of, like, when I was younger, I was like, if it's just too loud, you're too old. But at the end of the day, like, you hear stories about people wanting to go see, like, Stevie or something in concert, and they walk out because it was too damn loud. So, like,
Right.
there's obviously a limit where you don't want to be, like, badoosh, you know?
Right.
You want to be, like, you know, when I go see a show, I don't want to, like, it's like I love monster trucks. I don't go to monster jams because they're too damn loud. So you always got to find that, you know, certain level where, like, you know, everybody's happy, but,
Right.
you know. And also, you do lose some effect, though. If it's too quiet, you don't get that punch in your gut, you know.
I love indoor
Yeah.
shows, man.
You know,
Yeah.
I can't expect that. I don't think I was expecting to open up with Taylor going, I like monster trucks.
I do love monster trucks. You don't like Gravedigger?
Yeah,
No,
dude,
I'm
monster
okay
trucks are
with
the
them, I
most
just-
American thing there is. When I took my 5-year-old here recently to go see him, I cried. And it's when you see big things, they make me cry.
Dude.
Bullet, dude?
My grandma, she took me when the Boy Scouts used to go to Monster Jam every year, and she went with me one year, and she saw it was Maximum Destruction, and he was riding around and he flipped over, and my grandma started freaking out because she didn't know that was part of the show. She's like, "Oh my God, he's gonna die!" And I'm like, "No, that's part of it. That's what they do. They flip over." And yeah, it was. Oh God, I love monster trucks.
It's patriotic as shit.
You want to talk about monster trucks?
I do like my
Freaking-
I mean, I like them. I like chocolate too, and I like chocolate.
I like trains.
Those are good.
I
No.
like rocks.
No, but like, it's a good example, I think, because you know, monster trucks are almost too loud. But obviously, some people might disagree with me. But it's all about the, you know, yeah, masculinity and testosterone flowing through the air.
Yeah,
you
there's
know?
something
something about that
Like our
bigness
music.
to it.
Yeah, like our music, you know. It's,
Yeah. Like, imagine if you went to go see Rush live and it was real quiet.
Yeah, that's true. See, that's true. It's appropriate sometimes to be loud.
You know, when I think of big, muscular, bulky men going to the gym, I think of Taylor Hernly. You know. No,
You guys are talking about the appropriate volume. That's true in all the realms. You know, you're mixing a multi-track mix. The backing vocals are supposed to be quieter than the lead vocals, and the difference between good and bad is just how loud those things are.
Pretty
Yeah.
much, yeah. Front and back.
oh, for sure. And it's like, that was one thing I had to learn going through music, is because I've played in venues where you're loud as hell, and I've played in 5-star restaurants where you don't even know why they hired you, but they love you, but they just keep coming up to you. And like, when me and Jake were out in Cali, we played in this 5-star restaurant where, like, it was one of those gigs where we didn't do it for the money. We did it because they gave us a free plate of food, which was like gold out there. And plus, it was a 5-star restaurant, so it was like the best fettuccine I've ever had in my life.
Right.
So we set up. It's my one-man band act, and he's playing saxophone and guitar. And just about every other song, the
It's
owner.
a 2-man band.
Yeah, well, 2-man band. I'm doing the one-man band thing. It's two, whatever.
He's
you know.
accessorizing.
It's a weird pitch. Anyway, so the owner of the restaurant walks over to me and he's like, "Could you guys like tune it down a little bit?" I was like, "Yeah, we can, okay," because I'm all about making people happy. I want to get paid at the end of the night, and we keep tuning it down, and he's like, "I am so sorry, but can you get a little quieter?" And I'm getting to the point where it's a workout for me because I'm barely hitting my bass drum and my hi-hat, barely hitting my guitar. The only thing I'm singing full force is my vocals. And at some point, I'm just like, and then finally the pompous pricks that kept telling us to turn down, they ended up leaving the restaurant. So the owner's like, "Crank that shit up, boys." And we cranked it the fuck up and we rocked out the whole night.
Yeah.
But you play in those places, man, where some people just don't like live music, man. I've had people just, as soon as they see me walk in with my acoustic guitar, they pack their shit up and leave.
Yeah, dude.
I say good riddance, but
There's so many venues that I've
cutthroat.
seen like that. They're like, we need live music. People like live music. And then they get live music in. And the same people that paid you to come play live are like, you need to turn it down
Yeah.
because it's kind of hard for people to talk sometimes. And it's like, fucking play a CD.
yeah.
What are we doing here?
Exactly.
And there's ways of going about it because if you want live music, there's perfect putters. We talked about putters on the last episode. It's a great atmosphere to have live music and also have a family dining thing where it's like I'm up on a stage, I'm playing, but it's loud, but it's not loud enough to where people can't have a conversation while they're doing that. There's ways of going about it, and it's just about knowing what you want. Don't hire the wrong act. Like, don't hire somebody that yells when they sings to sing at a, I can do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm a hustler. I play wherever I can to make money. It doesn't hurt my feelings too much, but
I've seen you in that magazine before, I think.
hustler. Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
The guy with the leaf. You're the guy with the
The
leaf.
guy with the leaf. You're the guy with the with the 12-inch. Anyway,
The guy with the little leaf, yeah.
the guy with the leaf. No, but that's always been my view on live sound is like, when somebody hires you, obviously, that's one thing. They got to know what they're getting into, but you also have to respect the job because you are a professional live musician. If you only wanted to play loud venues, then only play loud venues.
Yeah.
But if you're a professional musician that takes on a restaurant job, you need to know that I'm playing a restaurant and I need to make sure that I'm not making people mad.
That's why I'm such a big fan of contracts, though.
Yeah.
Like you say, here's what we provide. Sign here if you fucking want it.
Yeah.
CEPK.
And then if they read
CEP.
through that and then they're like, you know what, this isn't what we're looking for, you don't have to deal with that bullshit.
Yeah.
When you're playing in these really quiet rooms, especially if you've got somebody bitching at you, to turn down, it affects your playing because
it's a learning experience.
when you're playing, especially as a drummer, you've only got so much room to move. So if you're telling me to be quieter, okay, now I'm bringing it down here. It's harder to move on time as a group when everybody's trying to be quiet. So you have to slow shit down more, and then when it gets loud, you kind of speed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's like this mix and play on learning small rooms, big rooms, medium-sized rooms, stuff like that. In terms of how to play and stuff.
Can you sub in different tools, your brushes and that kind of thing?
I was about to say I've played a couple gigs where they just kept hounding. They hired a band, and they kept hounding on us about being too loud. And it got to the point where I was playing brushes like the whole night, and it was like I'm playing these brushes quietly, and it was just like those kinds of things. As a drummer, I'm like, oh, this is just an exercise for me. Like how quiet can I play my parts, But at the same, it does blow because as a drummer, you want to just wail on it, you want to have fun. And
One of the greatest albums of all time, the Unplugged Nirvana, New York.
oh yeah,
The drummer's like, "Do you guys even want me here?"
Yeah.
They kept telling him, "Can you play quieter?"
yeah,
Yeah.
freaking Dave, man, it's funny watching him play that because he's just one of the best drummers of the '90s. He's just barely tapping the damn things.
What's Alice in Chains drummer? Sean Kinney, is that his name?
Yeah,
Sean? Dude, that motherfucker.
He's badass.
I love that Unplugged. Alice in Chains is the shit to me, man. I just love that guy on the drums.
That's a good one too.
He's a great drummer, dude.
He is.
The way he moves,
He's
especially
killer.
in their slow grooves where he's just playing whole body,
He's
just
one
on
of
the
my favorite
hi-hat.
drummers for sure, bro. For
He's
sure.
cool.
He's incredible.
What were we talking about with stage sound? You know what that one is?
Basically, volume.
Well,
Dynamic.
that was mostly live sound. With stage sound, I think it was more about
The achievements.
If I may, when it comes to sound in general, there's one way to look at it to the layman would be, it's a directional thing. It's not just a matter of dBs and ups and downs and volumes. Look at it in terms of, fronts and back and left and right. You can
Spatial.
Yeah, it's a spatial thing, especially stage sound. That's a spatial thing. Each stage is going to be shaped different. The room's shaped different. It's indoors, it's outdoors. You've got the crowd saying this, the crowd saying that. It's all kind of by the seat of your pants. And I think one thing that's helped me as an engineer on the engineering side of it is, knowing that if I put something in the back of the mix, I'm essentially turning it down.
Yeah.
But the process to get that done is a little different. You might adjust your compression, you might adjust your panning a little bit here and there. And so there's just so much more that goes into it that people have a clue about. It's like, it's really truly is like a science to it even.
Well, the stage in particular, though, I think
it's huge.
Have you ever played, and don't name the shows in particular.
Sure.
But you've played shows before where you're in the middle of playing. It can sound great out there, and you're like, it sounds like ass.
Or you can't hear it at all.
Here. And that especially applies to bass players because there are so many sound guys I've worked with that they don't want to put much bass in your front monitors, and it's like,
they don't get it.
Well, let me turn my amp up then. No, it's got to clear off the stage, and I'm like.
That's that spatial shit.
Okay, I'll fucking hear my bass in Braille.
Right, exactly. You need to hear your bass in front of you and behind you.
It's another good advice. Any band out there, if you're putting together your own PA system, put together your own monitor system first.
Yeah, no shit.
It's so much better to show up with your own monitor system.
And you can rehearse with a monitor system too, by the way.
Yeah, and we're going through that journey right now. And that's something I learned. Was the whole room thing. I learned on my mix board, because I have a fancy QSC Touch Mix, it has a tuning wizard on it, which means that it does that little fuzzy thing where it reads the room, where you put like a condenser mic.
Called pink noise.
Yeah, in the middle of the room, and you turn it on, and this little white fuzz kind of happens.
Like
that is not what I thought pink noise was.
And, and it like reads the room, and it and the tuning wizard, what it'll do is, because most of the time sound guys will read that, they'll look at their EQ and they know where to adjust it, but the tuning wizard will actually tell you where you should adjust it, so you can just move the EQ where it needs to go.
Not like the poor people that need to use their ears.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's something I probably should learn to do with my ears, but right now I don't have to. It has
I grew up with my ears only.
Yeah, because right now I'm diving into the world of PA and all that stuff, and like I'm building a rig for both the bands that I'm in.
Build one for mine too, man.
Yeah, for sure.
We've been doing that for like 3 years.
Yeah, it's I've got a pretty decent monitor system for the band. I mean, it's not like perfect, not like everybody's gonna have a monitor, but we got 2 front monitors and a drum monitor.
Gets it done.
Yeah, it gets the job done.
Did you get my unsolicited advice on your Facebook post?
I did. I forgot to reply to it.
Big jerk. I thought you just didn't care.
No, I'm horrible at getting back with people on comments now.
My unsolicited advice was to build it only for as large a show as you plan on running sound yourself. Unless you have a sound guy. Once it gets over a certain size, you better have a sound guy anyway.
Yeah.
You don't want to tote that around for. Yeah.
Which shout out to Aaron,
reason.
our buddy Aaron. He's going to be doing sound for us at some point. Now that I got a rig together, hopefully we'll be able to get him out for a lot more stuff. He's an absolute genius when it comes to sound. He's one of those guys where he'll sit and talk to you and you won't even know what the hell he's
It's a whole different fucking
talking
language.
about.
He's
yeah.
nerdy about it.
But no, that's if I was a band, that would be the first thing I'd put together is a monitor sound, because
if you were a band.
If I were a band.
We're not a band.
No, we don't do anything. We just talk about music stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about.
When I was a young warthog.
And commonly our setup, if you guys out there wanted to experiment with it, maybe you've never done it. Like at our rehearsals, we'll commonly just, like for drums, for example, we'll just throw the kick drum on. If you can, if you got a good decent space, maybe throw like your kick and snare on, or more mics if everybody's got in-ears or something like that. You know what I mean? But
do stuff.
Drums have the kick, so we got the low end. Me and Brandon work together.
Usually for rehearsal, especially for ours, I like to especially hook up the kick and the bass, because the rhythm section. I've been in a bunch of really weird scenarios where like me as a drummer, I'll rehearse with the band. And I'll rehearse with the band, and the rhythm section is kind of tight, but it's not really there. And then you get on a big stage or a theater where there's the subs are just boom, and then you realize, oh shit, I'm not playing along with the bass player like I should be. So when you plug that in at rehearsal, you hear the rhythm section, because the bass and the drums need to be just you know, especially with the bass drum and all that. So,
So we just had to order new equipment for the Playhouse, and one of the requests was a special monitor for the drummer that has a sub in it.
Oh, that's gonna be
so you
sick.
can lock it in with the bass player better. Yeah.
I love those are my favorite monitors for drums is when they have a sub.
Right. It's a little more expensive than your average wedge, but apparently it's worth it.
I want one for me.
What's
What the hell they do that?
Is it a Behringer by chance?
It's a JBL, I believe.
There's even actual attachments for drummers out there that you can put under your bass drum seat, so that every time that you hit the kick, you can feel it in your ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it helps you lock in with.
That's actually kind of a good
I've heard
idea.
of that one before.
Freaky drummers.
Yeah, hooking up your bass drum to a really good PA or just any PA system with subs is so cool, especially as a drummer, because you're just like, oh wow, this is really huge, you know, right now.
It'll blast your mind hole wide open, dude.
Yeah,
will.
it's fun. I've been putting together this new PA. It's been boggling my mind, but yeah,
Sound is everything.
It's like you put your mind in a bottle, mind bottle.
it's a mind bottle.
It's a mind boggler.
Last night I went down to a local venue and they were doing karaoke, and this guy that I just met was wanting me to sing, and I'm listening to this PA, and I'm like, holy hell! I don't know if anybody could do anything that's going to sound good into this thing.
You can
right?
say shit on this podcast.
I appreciate that.
The kids
and
are
I did last night. I was like, once you've played on a proper soundstage and you've heard yourself recorded properly or displayed properly, it's really hard to trust yourself into a system that you know almost no matter what you do, it's not going to represent. That sound is so important. You can sound like a snob when you say that, but you hear the difference.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do you recall, Keenan, a time not so very long ago? I played with Bengebreakers. We played at the Fairfield Amphitheater there in Terre Haute. And you had told me about the place. It's a big, giant outdoor amphitheater type gig.
Yeah, beautiful setup.
And we were just kind of fresh starting out on the scene. We didn't have our own PA together much at all, just a few like wedges. And dude, we attempted to go out there, and we had a huge crowd show up because it was for this recovery glow in the dark 5K run they were doing in Terre Haute. And it was right on like that amphitheater's like bigger names to play there and shit. But so we landed this gig and it went well enough, but we had like 9 different like Riki Tiki ass DJ speakers, anything we could get our hands on, dude. And we still barely made it out there to the back row, you know, and no sub at all. You know, it was like we had this little board and it's like, damn, man, we've come a long way. That shit matters.
That Riki Tiki.
It matters a lot. There was a show,
Damn Riki Tiki.
and actually, me and Keenan played this show together. You played at that show too, but we didn't play together there. I'm not going to mention it by name.
Oh, is that where the sound gave out?
The sound was given out a lot,
Oh.
but just in general, it sounded like ass everywhere. Stage, out in the audience,
Was I here for this?
everywhere.
No,
You were not there
that
for
was
this.
long before.
That was when I was still with Split Rail.
No, it was funny. What was funny about that is I was in the middle of singing my murder ballad, Johnny Dixon's
There you
Suicide
go.
Note, and it cuts out halfway. I mean, you guys know the song, obviously. It cuts out right before the big burn, and so it cuts out, and I'm sitting there waiting for them to turn it back on, and they finally turned the sound back on, and I had to go on the microphone and like retell the story. So it's like, okay, where were we? All right, so this guy, you know, catches wife cheating. I gotta kill him and blah blah blah. Okay, and here we go. You know.
What was so weird to me about that too was in terms of like a full 5-piece band, Split Rail was the only one at that event. As far as I can remember, everybody else was like up to a 3-piece. It was a lot more like acoustic stuff going on. Yeah. The sound did not blow out on us once.
Might have had something to do with the budget. Smaller
probably.
band, smaller budget, bigger band. Maybe we weren't too worried about it at the time.
Yeah, maybe not.
Good quality sound. That
Travis tricked the night before.
good sound that follows you around is hard to find, man. It's good. It's good to have that.
Yeah, man, having those moments when you're locked in on stage, if you got a good sound guy, like you'll have these memorable moments that are they're crazy. Like when you experience these with your band, when you can hear the frequencies of each other and everybody, you know.
It's a rush. Music is what we do is a rush, guys. Like you got to understand that to those of you that don't play music, you know, you go to the show, you enjoy yourselves. God bless you for that. But from our perspective, you know, if like, okay, me, I joined this band less than a year ago. I didn't know any of the songs. I didn't even play in this genre of music that we play in. And so then
And he still doesn't.
Yeah, and I still don't. And get this shit. Hey, that's fine. Neither do y'all. All right, you guys don't play the same shit you was playing either.
No, sir.
And it's because we all got our nuts on the cutting board. All right, but I'm saying.
Ow.
It's like it's something that it's a rush. Like it's like getting shoved out into this oncoming traffic that you have to like, dodge and make it to the other side, or you're like getting thrown into this roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's a rush, man. It's like you start the song and your band's playing the song with you, and you don't get to stop, dude. Like you're doing the damn thing, and it's how well you get through it into the other side that's like the whole point. Like
see, that's one of the beauties about being a guitar player, though, and this is coming from a bass player that's bitching about it. Because as a bass player, my experience, you don't ever get to stop, right? If you're coming up on a part of a song you don't know as a bass player and you stop, everybody's like, "Whoa, what the fuck was that?" As a guitar player, bleed out a little bit, sit back.
right.
Okay, now I know what they're doing, and just come back in. And
Guitar players definitely have freedom, to do that shit. But I mean, like on a more base level, like just to know what it's like to do what we do. Like you get up in front of a bunch of strangers and you get thrown into this thing that you have to make it to the the other side of, and it's fucking intense.
Absolutely.
But yeah, then it gets into the more intricate stuff for the musicians.
See you on the other side, fuckers.
Yeah, it's I love what we do, man.
No, I think that's one of my favorite things about this band is no two of us are the same.
No, quite the contrary.
I am a metalhead, but not in the same sense Kris is, right? Chris is like...
My dad's a metalhead.
And I'm listening to a lot of Maiden and I like, a lot of the newer metal, but like Infant Annihilator is not on that list.
Right.
And then you... what the fuck do you listen
We all like Sabbath.
Yeah.
Did you say me? What do I listen to?
What the fuck do you listen to?
I'm a weird. Like I like Zappa. I like
degenerate.
I like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
That's the only band you've like shown me right there.
I mean they're my thing right now. I like them a lot. I really dig like the sound that's coming through. It's this like neo funk thing, and if you've heard of this Kruang Ben is the name of the band. Hey, it means airplane in Thai. But
oh man, that's the second time you thought I was having a stroke.
Yeah,
I thought that was some new terrorist
hey,
organization.
look these guys up right after you look up our shit. Krang Ben, man, they're like it's just a few people and they don't even hardly sing, but they kick ass, man.
And what we're kind of all getting wrapped up into, like, if you want to learn how to, sound like guys that you like, learn how to start recording yourself, start messing with tunings and sounds and stuff like that. And really, like, in today's day and age, start messing with DAW systems, start learning how to work one so that you can collaborate with your band and other musicians.
Recording yourself is so important. I mean, one of the first touring bands I was ever in, I thought we were kick ass, and then somebody took a video of us playing, and then I listened to it, and even the guitar player was like, is that really what we sound like? And I was like, I think it's all right. I mean, I'm like 20 years old at the time. I'm like, I think it sounds all right. And they're like, no, dude, that sounds like ass. And I was like, oh, well.
I tried to tell you guys, but people are just like, well, Brandon's a dick.
Notice how he says even the guitar player, like, oh man, that must have been
it's like, you tour with the band for like, a month, just nonstop touring, and you just think like, yeah, we're the shit, man. This is a nightmare, but we're the shit at least. And then you listen to it and you're like, well, we don't even sound good. This sucks. I want to go home.
That band had some expensive gear.
Oh man, we definitely had some gear. We definitely had some. So anyway, so after that, I don't know. Recording yourself is so important. I mean, it's especially during shows. Recording yourself, making sure you don't sound like shit at the shows, because you're all like, because you want to know what you sound like under pressure and under adrenaline and all that.
Especially under a click.
And in a mix.
Usually better. I mean, that's usually it is typically better.
Yeah, you want to sound better under all that pressure and stuff, but like I always say, sometimes when I'm under pressure, I rust the shit out of stuff. So it's like, listening back to recordings, it's like, okay, before I kick into a song, I need to take a breath. And,
tempo's huge, man.
Figure it out,
When I'm under pressure, I find I only have to play two notes.
What?
Dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Very good.
We need a "That's So Easy" button.
Yeah, we do.
That was easy. That was easy. The Brandon's lame dad joke button.
It's like a soundbite from like an old porn. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna ask what kind of shit you're watching. Where they're doing that. I think that isn't that Rob Dyrdek. Dun, dun, dun.
That's my favorite Pornhub category.
Yeah.
The Rob Deer
Deer
Deck
decks.
category. Yeah.
Yep. The deer deck category. Anyway,
The deer dick. The deer dick.
that's a different thing, man. Yeah. Different
That is a
thing.
whole different. That's illegal.
That's the deep web. That's the dark web.
That's
So,
illegal.
I've seen you wearing his shirt, Taylor. Who is this Hunter Flynn guy?
Oh. Hey, don't feel bad. There's one.
What?
It's on the record. I got one too, bro. Don't feel
The
bad.
audio people ain't even gonna see that shit.
Bastards.
I was like, I'm not wearing a Hunter Flynn shirt. I'm wearing a black shirt. You bitch. No.
How did you guys approach, for one, like trying to replicate the sounds that you grew up on? But
So I don't. When and we kind of talked about this a little bit in the first episode. I don't want to sound like my influences necessarily because a lot of my influences don't do what I'm doing. I'm ripping shit out of Marcus Miller and Iron Maiden, and it all doesn't necessarily tonally work with exactly what I'm doing. Marcus Miller's got some great tone, I guess.
what type of
I
genre
wouldn't
is he in? I don't know who
He's
that is.
kind of like a funk fusion guy. It's a bass player band. You don't know who he is unless you're a bass player.
He's a Wooten.
I would definitely call him funk fusion.
He's a
Yeah.
Wooten for sure.
Okay.
But he's a
What about you,
badass
Taylor?
bass player.
How do I find my tone?
Yeah, like who are like the
He
starting
wants to know how
bassists for
you sound, or what you're doing to sound like the people you look up to.
Oh.
Yeah.
Rather if that's how you first used to approach it, or if it's how you approach
Well,
it now.
For songwriting, for sure. Like if I hear a song that I really like, I'll copy it, but not like in a stealing kind of way.
Right.
I'll like, instead of sitting down and learning how to play that song, I'll write my own version of it, and it might be totally different. Like I'll can't even think of an example right now, but like a Boy Called Hurt, that was me trying to be Green Day.
Yeah.
You know, which nobody listens
makes
to might
sense
not
now.
know. Yeah, you know, it's just me trying to like, I'll hear a song that I really like and I try to emulate it. And sometimes it comes, other side is me trying to be Green Day too. You know, it's just like songs that don't really sound like it, but it's because I'm trying to emulate what I hear. There's little subtle things that I'll pick up in music, like, reggae. I pick up the offhand stuff and I want to throw that into stuff. And, you know, you take little bits and pieces that music throws at you and then you put it into something for songwriting. And,
You keep it all in a toolbox.
and it's like with songwriting, I'm not really trying to sound like somebody. I think maybe when I was playing country, I was, because I wanted to be like everybody else, and I was trying to sound like Waylon, and I learned how to write that's where I learned how to write lyrics, was doing country.
Arrangement, yeah.
Yeah, and how to really just be a songwriter, you know, because some people, they'll write 2 songs a year, and I didn't want to be that guy. I wanted to be able to write a song whenever somebody wants me to write a song.
You write
know?
2 songs on the fucking way here.
Yeah.
Geek. I wrote a song for the advertisement today. No, but I stole the melody, but you know, whatever. But for drums, I just I don't know, like there's so many influences. I've always just kind of tried to sound like John Bottom, really.
Yeah.
And that's usually who I try to go for, but at the same time, I always have to catch myself because sometimes I feel like I'm not picking something because I like it. I feel like I'm picking it because it's like, well, this sounds like something John would have played or
Yeah.
whatever.
It's like Hogwarts or Slytherin.
Yeah, you know, like I really like Ledwig drums, but I don't know if I really like Ledwig drums like
Yeah.
I want to play them.
Yeah.
You know, I like the way that they sound, but I've always been a DW guy. So I've honestly, if anybody gets a chance, we live really close to Sweetwater compared to everybody else in the world.
Yeah, pretty
But
Here in Indiana.
Except for
Yeah.
the people in northern Indiana.
well, except for that like right down the road. But
Hammond.
you know, I could go to Sweetwater and I could ask them like, hey, can I play some of these drum kits? And they would probably let me do it, as long as I was really serious about purchasing one of them or starting a payment plan or something.
Yeah.
So like,
Oh, they'll set you up a demo anytime. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't mean to advertise for Sweetwater, but I mean,
Yeah, they're nice.
That is an awesome place to try shit out.
yeah, we're not affiliated with them, but they're awesome. But
If you guys want to hook us
They're
up,
not
you know.
affiliated with us. They're not
We
affiliated
wouldn't
with us.
turn down a Sweetwater
no,
sponsorship.
that'd be cool.
We do fucks with them.
No, we do fuck with you though. No, so like I've always been a DW fan, but at the end of the day, I don't know if I'm a DW fan. They sound great. You can never really go wrong with
They're only
DWs.
$8,000 more.
Right? Yeah. So it's like I don't know. Like, maybe I'm a Mapex guy. Maybe I'm a Ludwig guy. So when it comes to finding what my sound is, I have to get out of I I grew up listening to that I think sounds good. Like, I think John Bonham sounds great.
Excellent.
But would I say that that's the perfect drum sound? No, that was the perfect drum sound for Led Zeppelin.
For sure.
You know, so I need to, so sometimes I have to look past the bias and I have to ask myself, is this really what I want this to sound like?
See, and I think that's where I got lucky. My dad's worked at a music store since I was like 10. So over the summers when I'd go down there and help out with like string changes and setups as I learned how to do those and whatnot, what I wanted to know about tone, I could just go grab it off the wall and plug it into something and find out.
Yeah.
That was how I knew that I liked jazz bass formats. That was how with guitars I knew I liked Les Pauls, because I played Jackson Warriors and I played P basses and I played Music Mans, and I don't like any of them as much as I do like with a bass, jazz bass with hot pickups, or a guitar I just fucking hot pickups Les Paul.
Yeah.
And you see, like, for me, like, if you were gonna tune a drum kit to a jazz tuning, I'm gonna sit down on it and be like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so much about the sound of the instrument and the approach to it, like, really affects how you play it and the style and things like that.
Yeah.
And
is a jazz kit typically tuned dead, or is it?
No, it's
super high.
They're
Really?
really high. Like, if you listen to, like, Jimi Hendrix, for example, like, his tone, his
Basically
toms are
producing
like,
whole notes.
they're really, like, they're tinny because
Resonant,
jazz, and the toms are used a lot differently in jazz than they are in rock, A rock really likes that dead kind of, like, instead of, like, kind
And
of
jazz
thing.
drum sets go.
That's not.
Well, I mean, you can hear the drum
But
sound.
That sounds way different in person than it does over a bassy ass microphone,
But
though,
it-
in my defense.
I guess it would be the equivalent of changing the tuning on a guitar or bass to some weird shit, and
Like
then taking
seven,
the
seven,
same
seven.
instrument and being like,
Yeah.
what the hell is this? You know what I mean?
There's
That's how I am when people hand me something that's like, I tuned this to an open G tuning.
Yeah. Well, I've always, when people ask, like, I want to get a high-end kit, what high-end kit should I get? I was like, Mapex, Ledwig, DW,
Gretsch.
Pearl.
Yeah.
Any of those big brands, you get a high-end kit, it's going to be an amazing kit.
Yeah, none of them are like genre specific.
Yeah,
necessarily.
and obviously
Yamaha
all of
makes
them,
good.
like, do your research because all of them are going to have their distinct qualities. Like, I think Ledwig sounds a lot darker than a lot of drums. But,
Bengebreakers rep Gretsch and Mapex.
yeah, Gretsch is great too. I love Gretsch's. You play with my Gretsch, it's Brooklyn.
right.
Yeah.
We just got
Yeah.
Mapex too, though.
Yeah, so Mapex is great too. Dave Grohl played on Mapex if I remember correctly. I have the Black Panther snare is a Mapex.
I play on
I
a
didn't
Tama
know that.
Rockstar kit.
Yeah.
You know,
Tamas are kick-ass. Dude.
yeah.
Yeah, Tamas are great too. I mean, if you get a high end kit of any top of the line brand, you're gonna win. Like you're gonna get what you paid for. It's just about doing your research and just looking at what all these different kits sound like. Like, I think DW sound a little bit more modern.
Yeah.
I think they sound like, if you're really looking for that modern studio sound, that they're really great.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Go for it.
I was just going to say advice that I have for drummers, being one in the past myself and having my brother in my band being the drummer, is that don't sell yourself short by looking at the amount of money that you have in your pocket right now and trying to buy an entire fucking drum kit with that amount of money. Like, buy your shells,
Yeah.
piece it out in a way that you still win in the end. You know, you don't want to rip yourself off just trying to have a full drum kit. You know?
Yeah.
An awesome thing about drums, though.
Right? Yeah, you can kinda
I mean, you could
build
buy the body and then the pickups and then the fucking wiring
Right.
harness and
people do that shit, but
it's you can't just attach it together.
No.
and
I will-
tune it like a drum kit.
Right.
I will say this: the bad thing about, like, you can actually get a pretty damn good guitar for like $1,200,
Right.
$1,500, but
That's
a
just
damn
getting
good
you
drum
started.
kit's like $5,000.
you're talking about a few cymbals with $1,200.
Yeah, those cymbals alone. I mean, you could.
And they're perishable.
The cymbals are like guns, man. As long as you don't break them, the resale value on cymbals are just insane. You know,
They don't really have like so like my Sire bass. You're getting a couple $1,000s in value out of that. They don't really have a brand like that for drums necessarily, where it's like, okay, well, here's $1,000, but it plays like this,
Right.
$2,500 kit.
I'm sure you can find cheaper kits that'll,
I think Tama makes some really, like, Tama's like that Takamine like level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like that niche solid brand.
Gretsch has got some stuff like that
They do.
too. I mean,
but
like,
they have some shit too.
Oh yeah, all of them do. I mean,
Sure.
We my old buddy Daniel, rest in peace. When we played in high school for Pep Band, we used his old Pearl Exports.
Yeah.
And that was a horrible kit.
Yeah, they are. They're like in Ludwig Rockers. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing, man.
But yeah, I mean, like right now I'm in the. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I kind of want to get a new kit, but I also kind of want to just get a new snare and maybe I want to get a lower floor tom. I've got a 3-piece right now, but I want to make a 4-piece with a low floor tom.
Do you like the dual floor tom setup?
I do too. I do because like
Bonham.
it's the bottom and like, not just that, but like that low floor tom. Like I've been experimenting with a lot of timpani roll kind of stuff, like
Yeah.
you know,
that shit.
and I love it when I got a low floor tom to do that on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, a lot of times that like I had one when I was younger, and that low floor tom was just a table half the time.
I love them, man.
But yeah, it's
That makes a lot of sense for you
fun.
though. Like you kind of like studied the timpani a little bit, didn't you?
yeah. I won like 12 gold medals in high school for timpani.
What about you, bro? You're the drummer.
What's your question?
Well, this is the one you asked us.
Welcome back, Chris.
Yeah. I mean, like, what do you think? I mean,
What is your dream kit? Because I'm looking for either a snare or a new kit.
There you go.
What is your dream
Well,
kit?
it's kind of like how we're talking about how your sound relates to your style. Like, I wouldn't be able to sit down on a jazz tune kit and have my style come out of that sound. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So, like, at heart, I would honestly love, like, I come from, like, the 80s hair metal background. Like,
more
I
drums.
love, I love the showmanship of it. I love 2 double kicks,
Yeah.
like
The 8-piece drum kit.
Van Halen shit,
Yeah.
3 toms, 2 or 3 floor toms.
My dad would love you, bro.
If you look at like
You want the big chrome rack they all sit on,
like-
or
He does.
I think they're
The
called like
gong.
Vishnu Orchestra, some shit. It's like old ass band, like Killer back in the day.
Yeah.
And he's got like 2 floor toms here to his side, but also 1 right there. So he's got 3, like a timpani set.
got like
you know
an
what I'm
Oh, that's
saying?
cool. I've seen that before.
And a lot of those dudes, especially metal cats today, steal that from these badass jazz dudes and rock guys who
Yeah,
were.
we did that in high school. One day we were gonna go do Pep Band, and me and Daniel, my buddy Daniel, we raided the percussion closet, and we got all the old toms that we could find, and we just made this huge ass like Neil Peart drum kit, and that's what we did. We did the tri-tom thing, and it's cool. Like whenever you get your triplet on, just it's cool.
Yeah. And even like big part of my sound, especially like we'll go to play shows today, and the sound guy will try and fuck with our EQ and stuff on the drums, and he's like, "Yeah, I really don't need to touch them much," and it's because I've got really great high quality drum mics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
So
got
like,
those Audixes, man.
yeah,
It's everything.
invest in gear that makes your shit sound good on the spot, so that
Yeah.
What's a
you're
great
saving
high
yourself
quality
time.
drum mic rig cost?
God, Audixes are probably what like I've been because that's another thing I really want to get.
As
$20
much
on
as
Temu.
much as
God, I
cymbals.
wish. No, they're like God, $1,400.
It's cymbals again, basically.
I'm not sure if they're still offering the same deal. I know that I got a 7 mic setup with an interface
$1,000.
for a couple grand. So I'd really do your research online. Just literally Google whatever type of interface you think you need, or the mic setup. If you're a drummer, just literally look for mic bundles with interfaces, because it'll give you everything you need.
Yeah, if you need that interface, but you're looking at $1,000 to
Yeah.
$2,000 just
Yeah.
for a drum, nice drum.
Yeah,
and
those-
honestly,
those Audixes are no joke.
yeah, to be straight up, I still owe money
PreSonus,
to
dude.
this day on those mics. So
Entry level pre-Sonus kicks ass.
Everybody be
entry level,
quiet.
dude.
yeah, I took like $3,000 out on the Sweetwater card. I still owe money to them, so
Me too, brother.
kind of got those for free, I guess. So
Thanks, Sweetwater.
go in debt, get some good gear.
I'm in debt to Sweetwater.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
they'll
the
send
candy.
And pay it off using it.
Yeah, that's why Chris doesn't go up to Sweetwater with us. He passes by the loan shark office.
Yeah, facial recognition and shit.
Hey, wait a minute. That motherfucker still owes us $2,000. Probably shouldn't talk about this on the
He's ate
podcast.
a whole bunch of our candy for free.
Sorry, Zach. Don't remove me from my. I need to get a rep.
Write that down.
I thought I had
I'll
a
give
rep.
you my reps number.
Right on. I need one.
How many reps do you guys even do?
12. 12 as long as you're doing the whole like stop it in halfway. You stop for about
Can you do
5
pull-ups?
seconds.
Can you do pull-ups?
Yeah, I can do. I don't know yet. I haven't tried them in a minute. I'm sure I could,
I
but
do
so
like
bad
at
at
least 1 whole cock push up a day.
dude.
That explains it.
Reps
That's-
depends for me, because like if I'm lifting like a 20-pound weight, I can sit there and go all day. But If I'm lifting your old lady, I can only do that like twice.
Wow.
This is for the $100 tier Patreon.
Yeah, this is the exclusive Pornhub content.
See
Zach's
the-
about to whip out his willy.
Yeah, see the fight in the yard afterwards.
It's a snowball fight, guys. It's cold out here.
It's a snowball fight. I didn't know we were throwing bangers today.
Yeah, we're shots fired.
Dude, I was so not excited that the snow didn't come down a little bit more. I was happy to come here and go sledding like on the hills over there.
Right.
It's probably really dangerous to go sledding on the hills back here, but yeah.
My daughter's just now almost 2 years old, so she saw it today and was like,
Wow.
"What the hell is this?
What the fuck?
What's going on here?
You've been lying to me."
Fuck is this white bullshit? Welcome to
whole life.
Indiana, motherfucker. Yeah.
Kids are
Sick.
cool, man.
So what is your dream kit?
Yeah.
Dude, basically Jordison's kit, honestly. Straight
What did he
up.
play?
He had
He played drums.
one of his most recent
Thanks.
kits. He's got like 3 splashes, you know. A lot of current, like another huge drummer to me today is Dave McGraw from Cattle Decapitation. And he's got like a very
He's ready to film.
symmetrical setup. Like he's got 2 Chinas, you know, next to him over here for
Yeah.
doing crazy shit. But I would love 2 double basses, you know, 3 toms, 3 4 toms, you know,
Is
couple
that
floor toms, shit ton of cymbals, you know.
is it Cattle Decap that you're into, Infant Annihilator?
It's Cattle.
Okay,
dude.
so
Yeah.
I got that fucked up earlier.
Really, so like my huge influences, if we wanted to dive into influences real quick, would probably be Cattle, Decapitation. They're like an extreme metal band. Anything Greg Dillinger, you know, from Dillinger Escape Plan that Greg Puciato does. I love Dillinger Escape Plan. He's a great drummer.
Yeah, it's a good band.
Has crazy, you know, shit. I love anything new metal. New metal alone has a specific groove to it that a lot of bands did. Just
See, that's uncharted shit for me, bro.
it's
The
a
definition of new
foundation
metal's
of it,
changed
you know?
like several times
It
now.
has. Yeah.
Because
Well,
like Trivium was new metal.
lost.
When I
Rather,
was
if you're
really-
talking about, you know, Slipknot, Linkin Park, you know, I mean, all those guys had similar themes, but they all had like completely different styles of personality and demeanor in their music, but it was all categorized in the same genre. And it was the
Yeah.
weirdest thing because,
It was like grunge.
yeah.
Rock did it too. I mean, there's 50 kinds of rock now too, and most of them aren't good anymore.
Yeah.
I think.
And it's kind of like we were talking about earlier, like,
That's me.
you used to have record labels who would go out to cities and sign literally like 17,000 bands at a time and define whole genres by the current scenes that are happening.
Yeah.
And you have whole scenes that are out there happening that aren't being defined, that
Well.
don't have any ground to stand on. And that's kind of what we're wanting to support here.
We're lowering the
And-
hedge
Yeah.
between genres.
Find all the shit that, you know, it's not being supported that needs ground to stand on.
if
I don't care what it's called, just get its ass here and
Yeah.
play.
Yeah.
if everybody, and I know this is never gonna fucking happen, but if everybody could just let go of genre
Click. Yeah.
and just
Right.
be them,
Right.
and
'Cause
if
what's
the bands
happening,
could do that and just be them.
there's a weird thing where I hear so many guys who sound completely different and they're all calling themselves alternative.
Right.
And I think it's because we're in this weird moment where, you know, through the internet, we've never had this moment where, like, for example, back in the day, if you're from, like, you know, a small city, you guys kind of listen to the same music, local artists even at that, and you guys defined each other's sound. But today we hear the world sound in all of the different styles, and no one knows what to call that, what to define it as, because it all kind of, it's coming from everywhere.
Yeah.
And we all want to
Yeah.
call it alternative or,
If I may,
It's weird.
I mean, a lot of great insight here. Rewind it and replay it again if you have to. But totally vibing with what some of the shit you guys have said on the in the sense that, you know, it's like, how do I put this the best way possible? As far as genres go, okay, like, people have got to realize that in so many words, like, you ain't shit, man. Like, you're not the biggest, baddest dude in your fucking pond. You're not. Like, you have to transcend that part of yourself that thinks that you're hot shit in order to, like, allow yourself to be influenced by certain things and allow yourself to play certain styles of music. And ultimately, what's happening is a good thing, I think, and that's
Right.
that we are, like, dissolving that barrier that defines what one genre is as opposed to another genre.
Right.
And then you get weird, like, funky spaceship sounding shit like us, and you get, like, Jeremy Short's sound. You know, he's got
Yeah.
a weird sound, man. And there is no genre. There shouldn't be one. Like, be as weird as you can and own
Yeah.
it, man. You know, like, I think we got a great thing going on here.
Yeah, Jeremy, that was a really cool show.
Yeah.
I really hope we can open up for him again sometime.
Yeah,
That
man.
was cool.
The genre thing, I think, is a bad thing. I think to classify anything.
Nowadays it is. I mean,
It is for the musicians. It's not for promoters and event coordinators.
That's true. It's
Well,
just keep it
and the other
organized.
part of that is studying the actual music, because like a lot of genres, for example, when it comes to like metric modulation, some genres stick to that quarter note, some genres swing, some genres stick to that eighth. You know, metal's always 16th,
different
30
religions of
seconds.
music, basically.
Yeah.
Different
So
disciplines.
it's once you learn how to take all these different foundations and apply them together, you know, you're essentially creating new styles, and that's what everybody's kind of doing now. Because, like, you know, you can hear clave stuff and Ariana Grande, which, you know, like pop songs, which back in the day, pop songs weren't how pop sounds
They were
sound
just
today.
popular.
There's some of
Yes.
the most layered music there is now.
Yeah,
Like, it's super layered.
and also sometimes it's super simple, or some of the most diverse music that you can hear
Yeah.
in what's defined as simple music. So we're all having this weird competition. There's technology out there to where, like, back in the day, if you were an old cat, you know, like, you were buying amps that weren't up to date with the stuff that, like, you know, Alice in Chains, or, you know, even before that were using. Like, they had the newest shit that's coming. But today, you can be a regular dude and make an album that sounds just as high quality as their shit with, like, free plugins.
Pro Tools.
Yeah, like, half the dolls out there come with the same tools, so it makes it even more competitive because we keep having less advantages over each other, and we're fighting to make
Well,
something new.
It leaves people with all they really actually have, which
And
is
all they need.
their own original shit, their
Yeah.
own original sauce, and nobody hardly has any.
Yeah.
You know, so
my headphones.
actually, it's
Did you lose
ripe.
them?
The time is ripe
Right
to
here.
fucking. The time is ripe to be where we're at, doing what we're doing.
Right.
Same with you, Keenan. You're kind of on the frontier of something, I think, man. It's, at least in the region, you are.
La Fido.
Which frontier are we on?
Just
here?
as far as your streaming platform goes, what you're
Alright.
doing, the vehicle that you provide is sort of. I don't know of anyone else that does it.
And
I mean,
Keenan's the perfect example on, because like we were talking about earlier with local DJs and stuff, all those dudes died out from, you know, all the corporate companies and labels and shit, and now you're starting to see a revival of people going, fuck that, I want to see people like Keenan have their own studio, put on local bands. Let's actually hear what people are out there, you know, like musicians are creating versus what this one dude in fucking New York City or
Right.
California is.
Yeah.
A return to authenticity,
Yeah.
a deviation from formulas, and instead of thinking, what can we make money on? How can we sell it? They think, a real artist thinks, I'm going to make art, and then people will do with it what they want.
Right.
Right.
One of
Yeah.
the things that bothers me the most, I watch this once in a while, you'll see this thing, I don't even know what it's called, it's probably on MTV or something, but they got all these people up there, and these judges are trying to decide if they're going to sign them or not, and they're all just like, I don't know, can you make me that money?
Yeah.
Can you make me that
Exactly.
money? Yeah, like, wow, I'm like, come on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's the total backwards thinking of let's just bow down to the dollar.
Yeah. Well, and so many of
Can you
them
be
do,
cookie
man.
cutter for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So many of them jump all over it, man.
Yeah.
Well, there's a little place in West Virginia called the Red Barn Radio, and they kind of do something similar that Keenan does, but they've been doing it. Like, I found a video of Sturgill Simpson playing on there in 2008.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
it's few and far between, at least, you know.
They've blown up a couple artists like Tyler Childers. Some of his first two records were from Red Barn Radio, and his videos went viral from there. Cole Chaney, he went viral on there. There's a couple of artists that have went viral off of Red Barn Radio.
Oh, yeah.
No
Because-
pressure here, friends,
Yeah.
homies, but we do expect you guys to blow up
Yeah.
and make the whole thing famous. So thank
Well,
you.
shit.
Just go ahead and do that.
And that's what's cool. Like, if you're trying to make it through the current, you know, status quo or the old one, you know, trying to reach out to a label or just play local bar shows and you're going to get discovered, it's not going to work. But if you start building a community together of people who aren't asking you for money and they're just doing it to build something new together, give something new for people to reach out to and experience, you know what I mean? It's a new way out.
Rearrange what professional means to you. Rearrange what famous means to you. You know.
I think we'd be famous already if Taylor was a hot chick.
Yeah. Totally.
dude.
You need to
It
get a big
helps.
old fat ass on you, Taylor. Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude,
I've
you
been
need to
going to the gym.
transition.
Yeah, he has been doing it. He do have a booty a little bit.
I used to be Taylor, now I'm
Taylor.
Taylor.
Now he's Tay. Tay.
I just want to point out that every time like Keenan says something, like I don't know if it's just a default, but we all just kind of look up. And it looks like from the camera, it looks like we're talking like God's talking to us. Like,
I'm looking down on all of
He
you.
is God.
We're like Teletubbies. Like,
hello? Magic man up in the sky.
Keenan's actually AI. He's not even.
Yeah.
For the rest of us, Taylor, we're just kind of looking straight across.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid being the voice of God. Now I've got myself in this picture-in-picture problem where you're looking up at me like I'm God.
Wait, we should be looking down like right here, right? Like try right here.
Yeah, look
guys.
straight. Yeah, look down.
Look at the rainwater.
Say,
Timmy stuck in the well.
There he
for Chris, you got to look down into your left. Look down into your left for me,
In
Chris.
my left?
Yeah, your left. Yeah, sort of like that. Head up, a little higher. There you
look
go.
up,
That's a
look
little
up
better.
under.
Look up here, Chris. Do you see where Keenan's sitting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, same thing for Taylor. You got to look down into your left. Whereas, let's say, down into your left. Everybody down into your left. Zach, give me a little down into your left. Just look down at me for a second. There you go. But when it's all of you, you can look down to the center of the table, and I'm right under there.
Hello, Keenan.
Hi guys.
Hi, Keenan.
Hi, Keenan.
Don't touch the top of my head. That's where my soul resides.
Oh, sorry, dude.
His soft spot never grew back.
Yeah, my fontanelle is quite soft.
So what's it like being a disembodied head?
I've got my shoulders too, dog.
What kind of music do you listen to? What are we doing now, guys?
I think we digress.
Well, we already
we
talked
do.
about Chris's favorite drum set. Not that was a topic.
We haven't done Zach.
What my favorite?
What's your
drum set?
favorite
What
drum
was
set?
what was like the first tones you first went about, or what you go for now?
So, like, tone has been an interesting struggle for me. Like, I will keep it brief by saying that I was literally 120% self-taught. Like, I didn't have I didn't, like, come from a long line of people who knew a bunch about theory or chords or any sort of arrangement, nothing like that. I took a year or two of band in middle school. I played tenor sax, learned how to read some music, learned how to read some tabs. And I started out with, like, a PV, like, solid-state amp. And I learned how to make that Valve King amp sound like Jimmy Page. It's a common recurring theme.
I thought the Valve King was a tube
I
amp.
know you mentioned like
They had a trans tube. It was called a trans tube, transistor. And
So like it thought it was a tube
right.
amp.
It identified as a solid state, but it was, or whatever.
That's
very
Patreon
progressive.
right there.
Yeah, it was a progressive amp. Sounded good, but
you mentioned Jack White too, and
yeah, Jack White's one of
Some
my
other
favorite
factors.
guys. Just the musician's musician is my thing. You know,
Yeah.
I like things that other people would have to like think more than they care to think to get really their head wrapped around it, and like Zappa, and a lot of stuff that has like the intricacies in between the lines.
Welcome to the It's So Canceled podcast.
That's why we pre-record
It's
this.
so canceled.
We should have a beep button, like a beep tone, like It should say
Everybody donate to the Patreon so we don't be homeless by next
Yeah,
week.
so we can get Zach out of jail. No, don't say that. Come on, man.
You going to jail? What
No,
for?
I'm just saying, like, you said donate, and I'm just trying to be funny, but I'm going to end up fucking jinxing myself or something.
I was like, don't go to jail, man.
Where's wood? Is this wood?
Is that
Some
wood?
wood under
No,
there.
I'm superstitious today. All right, thanks. Anyhow,
Knock on
give us your
fabric wood.
money. No, I'm just kidding.
Give us your money.
Phone lines are open.
The phone lines,
No.
phone lines are open for an easy sow your tithe, or what do they call it? Sow your
Tithe.
seed. Sow your $600 seed,
Yeah.
and Jesus will repay you with many tithes and blessings.
Yeah, that's how they be. But anyway,
I feel weird saying I'm a Christian myself, but there are definitely
some people are doing certain different things with it, aren't they?
they're doing some pretty bad things with it.
here lately, like to improve my sound,
Yeah.
I've been trying to buy lessons and
That's the thing.
you know get tighter on shit, experiment even more so with tunings and styles. I've been
Totally.
You know, I've got a whole list at home from the guy that I bought lessons from. It came with a list of drummers and styles to study from like literally every genre. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to like do homework on that and see where these guys come from, because kind of hit like a dead like rut in my playing for a second after I got tight to a click in my own style and our own music. I was like, what else can I play besides this? You know what I mean? And that's what kind of like made me want to start branching out into different stuff and experimenting with different things. You know what I mean?
That's probably the best point I've heard so far is just, it's not the gear, it's the person using the gear.
Totally.
Yeah.
And until you know what to do with it.
Right.
What's the point of having triumphant instruments if we don't even know how to play?
Well, it's like
Yeah.
I've been playing for 25 years, and Ty's entrance into the band is what made me realize the importance of having tubes in your amp. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm 25 years into playing, and I'm just now like, I need fucking tubes, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Which is why Ty's not here tonight, actually. His kid did, too.
yeah, tubes, yeah.
And it
Had to get
tubes in his
tubes in his
My daughter has to have that same thing done soon, man. So, I get it. Sucks.
Hopefully Morrison's feeling all right. Love you, buddy. See you soon, Ty.
What have you guys been doing here recently to like try and get out of your box?
So that's something I've like always. He's talking, I think, mostly
you.
like what your genre or your
Yeah, I got you here.
your
What confines you?
limitations.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm constantly doing. That is my goal. And you've heard every time we talk about tone or we talk about influences or anything, the thing I always preach is versatility. Sure, you've got one thing you're better at than everything else that you do, or hopefully. But you want to be as good as you can be at everything, especially as a professional musician, because you never know what kind of gig's going to get thrown at you.
Right.
So when you talk about what have I been working on to expand, Slow Gen's throwing me a lot of stuff I have sworn my whole life I wouldn't play. Right? So and I love playing for Slow Gen, and I like playing these songs because we make them kind of our thing.
What would you say that style is? Like, what's the style you're going from and into with Ty?
Well, I'm not going from anything. Like I've kind of collected a lot of styles into my cool toolbox, but now
like
I'm
blues and.
Now I'm going into blues is something I've been.
It's solid.
But this is more like a '60s psychedelic almost.
It's 60s psychedelic.
60s
A lot
era.
of it's like pop from the 60s and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
And you usually come from what?
Well, everything else.
But like the rock and like Iron Maiden and.
Yeah.
the like.
I mean,
Sabbath.
if you're talking about my origins, yes.
Yeah.
But in terms of all of the stuff that I am at now, where I'm coming from going into Slow Gen, that's blues, country, classic metal, newer metal. Like I said, I try to have every style I can.
Right.
But going into that, it's a whole different way of approaching certain things. I don't know the patterns and the nuances that are common to these types of music anymore, and I have to get all of that down in order to understand Beatles and Hendrix and stuff like that.
I try to live in the nuance. That's where I live at.
Yeah.
That's what keeps me employed.
keeps me employed.
Honestly,
yeah.
like I have to stay there because I'm not the best technical player. I don't have the most extravagant influences. They're pretty cliche, really. I am gonna show up every day and I'm gonna play whatever the hell like is in the ether available to me in that moment. And my influencers are just the vehicle that I'm riding into doing that. The tones and things that I prefer are, fuzzy rock and roll Zeppelin tones, but big drums, big bass, that's more to me than the guitar is. But I'm music first, lyrics later type guy, that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, humbuckers.
Well, and it's also like, if you ask me my influences, like in particular, you can say, like, specify, like, who inspired you to, like, start playing music. If you're playing country and you're playing bass, who are your influences?
Right.
If you're playing rock and you're playing guitar, who are your influences? Because my influences, like Steve Harris from Iron Maiden, I haven't been able to get him to bleed into country very often. So when I play country, I think of, like, Waylon's bass player. I think of, like, Jamie Johnson's bass player. But it's going to be different depending on what style is being put in front of me.
I think this all segues in beautifully into something we could talk about maybe next episode, which would be like the spirit of a song.
Yeah.
Because more so than who is what in black and white and cut and dried, it's like each song has a spirit that can be captured about it, and it was originally instilled in the song by the writer of the song.
I fucking spit all over your arm when I was talking to it. I'm sorry about that.
But if you can capture the spirit of the song, and then even better, if you can convey that to somebody else and get them to feel the same spirit of the song, then you're winning, dude. You don't even need to talk about cut and dried influences at all. It's like you're in the ether now. You're talking about stuff that's just available all the time.
And even in to stretch that further, to talk about how we try and take some of our old influences and make them modern day.
Yeah.
And
make them yours.
A lot of our in all the bands that we're in, for example, we try and take older songs and put new turns on them and a new twist and
then they
sounds
can become new
and-
things altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's still keeping itself in this like rock genre, we've got a lot of pop sounds, reggae, metal, country. It all kind of comes into this like
It's so easy, man.
yeah.
It is. Seriously.
I mean, me personally, I haven't really done a whole lot to get out of my comfort zones. I mean, I haven't really needed to lately. I mean, the band I'm playing drums for is music I've been playing, drums for, the music I love playing.
Right.
But a lot of the things I've been working on is just if I find something, what gets me out of my comfort zone is if I'm playing something and I stumble upon something that I'm not playing right, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it over and over again until I can get it down. Yeah. I was playing Rock and Roll by Zeppelin the other day, and a part that I didn't realize, I always, I could play the hand part, but one part I didn't realize is I wasn't playing the bass drum part properly. I was just playing do-ga, but it's really do-do-ga, do-do-ga, do-do-ga.
Right. Totally.
And I couldn't get it synced up with my hand part, do-do-da, do-do-da.
Yeah.
So I sat there and I played it, and I set my metronome at like 50 BPM, and I played that for like, ever until I can, even those hits, the baka-da-ga-da-ga.
What's the intro to again? What's he do that to?
Yeah.
What's he do that to? There's a way to do that.
Oh, it's the Johnny B. Good intro.
That's right.
Yeah, okay, but no, that's just like, I mean, I haven't really done a whole lot of like diving outside of my comfort zone, like musically, or like not musically, like inspiration wise, but definitely with learning like new songs. If I'm stumbling across something like, oh, that's a drum fill. I might not play the drum fill the exact way that he played it, but I'm going to learn that drum fill because that sounds like a cool drum fill, that kind of stuff.
And
Noted.
The part two that is like, there's cover bands out there who, they've been playing the same songs. Maybe these guys are in their 40s or 50s, they've been playing the same songs since they were teenagers, the same cover songs. And, they don't play anything wrong. Everything sounds good when they're playing. And they're not getting any results audience-wise or getting, any marketing, anything bigger than that. And it's not necessarily because they're playing anything wrong, but they're not doing anything new. They're not going to a new market of person and age. They might be playing to a dying age group of people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though their music's great.
I don't know. A lot of the music I'm listening to is old as hell.
Yeah,
Like
Well, I'm talking
90%
about cover bands who are great musicians. Nothing wrong with the show, but they got dead shows because they're, for one, they're a cover band, but two,
They're complacent.
they're
not
playing these
believable.
songs that we've been hearing for 40, 60 years plus, and no new turns on them, just how it goes. Perfect song, perfect skill, nothing wrong with these guys, but they're not playing to newer crowds, not trying to put new turns on it, And that's something we try and do, put new spins on stuff. Even though we're covering some older music, you know what I mean? It's got a new twist on it. It's got modern edge to it, you know what I mean?
Well, I think that's especially important, more so for an original act than it is a cover band.
Right.
Like a lot of cover bands, when they hire you, they want you to sound exactly like fucking Guns N' Roses or whoever.
There's a lot of original guys who sound just like, da-da-da.
Yeah.
I've definitely
that's
been
true.
hired to play a couple note for note gigs that I
Yeah.
can't stand.
I
But
hate it.
no, I mean, touching on that, obviously, stick to your originality, dive out of your comfort zone, whatever. Just find be willing to look for, what you think sounds good along with what has been proven to sound good, because both can be right and both can be, wrong. I mean,
And what the guys in your group think sounds good.
yeah, listen to the opinions of those around you. Play for the gig that you're at.
Yeah.
Because it's
Most
important.
That's an important one.
It's important to sound good for the gig you're playing at. You don't want to play slap bass in a jazz gig. You'll sound weird,
I'll try my hardest to make it happen.
you
though.
bet.
You will get what you are supposed to get when you are supposed to get it, whether you look for it or not. If you're putting your feet out there, you're moving your feet, and you're in a place that is playing music at all on a consistent basis, you will gain what is necessary to continue forward in that.
And that's the whole thing and what Zach's saying. Like, don't take that one seed that God or whatever you believe in has given you and be like, oh, I've only got one seed when somebody else has got 10,000.
Yeah.
Act on that one seed.
Yeah.
Bring results, get results.
As long as you're moving, something's happening.
Rather if it's just posting content, getting a show, learning something new, show yourself results in a manner, because one day you're going to be able to show that to a group of people who have already hopefully been there and done that and can apply that with you. You know what I mean?
And with that, we thank you guys very much for tonight.
It's so easy.
Yeah, it's so easy. We'll see you guys next time on the FND podcast. No, on the It's So Easy
Damn it.
podcast.
I thought you were trying to draw Taylor like a French girl.
Bye.
Bye.